What's up? What's up? What's up? My name is Neicee J. I am here with Mr. J. Halim, the boss man himself, on S.T.A.R.V.E Talk podcast.
I'm in the studio with J. Halim.
I'm in the studio with J. Halim.
Studio with J. Halim.
I'm in the studio with J. Halim. I'm in the studio with J. Halim.
You are now in the studio with J. Halim.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Jay Halim. We are back for another dope episode of S.T.A.R.V.E Talk. Yes, stop telling me I'm telling you all my episodes are dope because I know they're dope. I'm looking for dope people. Everybody who want to be on here can't be on here because they don't understand what S.T.A.R.V.E Talk means. So I don't want to talk to them if they don't understand that. I don't want to bring them to you guys if they don't understand that. But this lovely sister right here, oh my God, I fell in love with her when she interviewed me. But more importantly, that doubled down when she interviewed my daughter and the love that she showed my daughter and my family thus far. And we've become family at a distance. And I've just been watching her move and shaking the inspiration that I get from her because I'm seeing her do things that when I was 20 years ago, when I was in college and things I thought about doing, all the people had bad stuff to say about it, about when you be an author, you're not gonna make no money. You trying to be an actor, you trying to do this. Oh my God, you better get a real job. And I'm watching this sister crush things at this portion of her life. Now she's only in her late 30s or whatever, but it's not the point. It's not the point. A lot of people quit. They don't see that they can make these type of moves early in their life. And so she just inspired me. So I said, hey, I would love to have her on, and she happily accepted. So here you guys are with the beautiful, lovely Neicee J. Thank you so much for coming on and chilling with me.
Oh, thank you for having me. I so appreciate you. You have no idea. You have no idea.
No,
thank you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Just your energy is everything. You're such a nice individual. And that's, people say those things in passing, but today's world we living in, that's a very important thing. It's always been important to be nice, but you can't say that about a lot of people no more.
No, not today. Not today.
You just can't say that.
We see that every day. It's bad.
You can't just say that. You can't just expect people to live by the golden rule. You can't expect people to just do nice things. Like certain things you used to expect. Like, okay, this is a community. You might have kids, so you're gonna treat my kids right. You're a human, I'm a human. That stuff is all out of the window right now. So
Absolutely.
It's very special to be able to actually meet and interact with individuals who are genuinely just good people. And I appreciate it, especially in the social media world too, where people feel like they can just go ham, with no consequences, just say what they feel like saying, hurt people's feelings, treat people bad. We all got something we can say that hurts somebody's feelings, but it's the restraint to say, okay, I'm not, or I don't have to. It's way more powerful than just being, a nasty individual. So again, that's appreciated. But you're busy too. You're not just being nice. You're busy. You're a boss.
Ooh, busy. Yes, I am. And I thank God for being busy. I really do.
Yeah, 2023 has been a busy year for you. I'm watching, I'm a fan. I'm watching from the sideline. I'm like, oh my God, she rocking and rolling. She doing this, she doing that. So, but I don't want to give them that first. I want to take them back to Ohio with you.
Yes.
Yes. So What was that like growing up in Ohio?
Man, listen. Anybody who grew up in Ohio, especially in the Cleveland area, everybody know what it's like, But I grew up there. I was there for 39 years before I moved to North Carolina. I was
just moved
born 10 years ago.
Oh, I thought you was 30.
Well, yeah, you keep thinking I'm in my 30s. No, listen, I'm pushing 50. I'm a year and a half away from 50.
Wow. Hey, listen, we got to celebrate that though. We got to celebrate that. You from the Cleveland area, and I know it ain't easy to be 50 growing up in the Cleveland area.
Man, no. But by the grace of God, I did. I lived in a town called Lorain, Ohio. It's like 20 minutes away from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. They call us baby Cleveland. So yeah, it was a rowdy city. I loved it. I loved my city. It was diverse. Mm-hmm. Everyone got along. Like I said, I was born and raised there with my parents, my sister, my brother. Had my children there, graduated from there. It was a great I had a great, childhood there. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't even complain. A lot of people to this day still complain, oh, Lorain this, Lorain that, but that's what made me.
Yeah.
That city is what made me today, who I am today. And I mean, I can't do nothing but appreciate the people that I was around, from the teachers, my parents, some of my friends. Not all friends were good influencers. However, those who were there for me and was very supportive, I mean, it made me who I am today.
No,
So
I love that. That's again, the level of positivity, because people would jump on that. Like, I mean, I come from Newark, New Jersey. I got 1,001 bad things to say about Newark. And people know Newark, New Jersey from New Jersey Drive, or, there's always something bad. We even recently, they just found out that they put the Malcolm X thing out. They found out that somebody from Newark was the one who assassinated Malcolm X, and it was a mosque. And so, it's just my city, Cory Booker, all that stuff. But then you, like you said, you start to look back like, if you doing all this amazing stuff, you only doing it because you were bred there.
right.
What you learned, you can't crap all over that. Like that was dope. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
can't remember some amazing things that happened. That it was your platform. That's the platform that you were built on, that may be able to make you go out into the world and be dope. So I definitely appreciate that situation. What is one of the fondest memories you have your childhood there?
Ooh, I don't, I can't even really pinpoint one like that.
A couple.
Let's see. I can go back as far as in like 87, 88, back when the tandems or double bikes were a thing.
Yeah.
The boys around there, they had all the boys around, I won't say all, majority of the boys around there had these tandems where they were hooked up with speakers and blinkers and rear view mirrors. I mean, they had them loaded down. That was our Cadillac. So I, used to ride around on those. Just hanging out with my friends at the Central Park that we had nearby. Everybody just getting together, having a good old time. It was a thing when everybody can get along. We can hang out this specific park and have a good time, because a lot of times there was a lot of fighting, a lot of just off the wall stuff. We had this specific club called Sons of Italy. Instead of us going out fight, we didn't want to fight. We'll go to this club and we'll have a dance battle. That's my favorite.
Wow.
So we were just talking about that just not too long ago. A lot of people were bringing up old memories of, our childhood. And Sons of Italy was that spot. We all get dressed up in our little biker shorts and, whatever we had. And go, and have a
I
dance
remember
battle.
those.
Right, with the little pink stripe down the side. Thought it was cute.
When Patrick, the young lady, the Caribbean singer, Patrick,
Yes.
when she had a biker shorts on, and Adina Howard, and like,
yes,
going crazy.
Yes, that was us.
I'm telling my age.
But I know you way younger than me, so
I ain't way, but I'm near. I'm in my 40s too. So
okay. I thought you was in your 30s.
Well, thank you. See, this is a God-fearing woman. This is the blood is all over her.
That's it.
Yes. What? Tell me about school. After you graduated high school, what did you do?
So when I graduated high school, I went to Lorain High School in Lorain. I graduated in 93. I won't say that I was the best in school, because I wasn't. I was supposed to attend Central State University. That was my goal. Got pregnant with my daughter probably that September that I graduated. Ended up, having her. Got married at a young age. Had my second child, my son, when I was 21, I believe, 22. So when I was growing up, it was just, I had all of these ideas of what I wanted to do. But because of some of the things that happened to me prior, it kind of changed my mindset. But yeah, I grew up fast.
Did you feel like it was the kids, or it was something else that happened that prevented you from doing some of those things?
So I won't say it was so much the kids, because what I will say is what happened to me. I probably wouldn't have had children had me not being in a situation of being molested.
Okay.
And going through what I went through as a child, I probably wouldn't have had kids as soon as I did.
Yeah.
You know, again, I probably would have went to college.
Yeah.
I would have a whole different path would have been taken.
Yeah.
But you know, some people don't understand when you go through stuff like that, it does alter
Yeah.
who you are.
And I've heard that plenty of times, you know, kind of kickstarting you a little too fast, you know what I'm saying? And then at that
Exactly.
age, you know, when you're younger, and it's crazy. It's and for guys too, you know, you just literally like, I heard somebody talking as a scholar, I can't remember who it was recently. They were just saying like when you would, because they talking about guys getting themselves more under control sexually as they get older and able, but they say at that age, once we get started, all we looking is to hit, is trying to find something, you know, and it's not even that you even know what you're doing. It's just this energy you trying to get out. But they always miss out on you guys, on the ladies, like as if you guys, because we've been taught this thing that you guys are supposed to be protected in that space, like you don't have feelings, like, and you can't act out on those feelings, otherwise you'll be talked about negatively and things of that nature, but you have the same feelings. And so getting you started a lot earlier, you know, in that space, you're in that, you're looking too, you know what I mean? Because it becomes normalized, you know what I mean? But the shame, you know, having to hide, you know, can't talk about it because, you know, we grew up in Black households. You know, tell everybody, you know, you can't tell your business. So, you know, were you in that space? Were you experiencing that?
My parents honestly never, I don't recall my parents ever saying that to me.
Okay.
Which I understood it, but now thinking about it as an adult, I don't know if it's even a right thing to tell a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the fact that when you tell a child that, you know, kids tend to absorb what you say, not all of them, because some of them still do what they want to do, but they absorb what you say. And if you say, well, you know, don't speak on this or don't speak on that. Now, when something happens to them, how do you expect them to come and talk to you about what happened? Well, mommy, daddy told me not to, you know. So, no, but my parents never did that. They never told me anything like that I can remember. And me not being able to verbalize the stuff that happened to me, I don't understand why I didn't. I understand that the person threatened me, you know, and said things to me. So that scared me. But for my parents to tell me something like that, no, they never did. Because I would have absolutely been able to say, hey, mom, dad, this, and that, and the third happened to me. But, you know, we have to be careful what we tell our kids, though.
Yeah,
you know, because they will listen to that.
So I imagine this was someone close to the family. So
yes, it was my uncle and my grandfather.
Yeah, see, so that, and usually what happens in this space is not that the parents don't want you to tell. Sometimes the parents is the ones not telling. You know, I run into a lot of people I've talked to, especially young ladies who've had those situations, and it's a family secret. And it's like maybe those two guys have been ostracized in the family, but outside the family, we're not letting everybody know what's happening in our family. And one thing I've learned about kids, they don't really do what you say as much as they do what you do.
Right.
And so if they're watching you not get that person arrested, you know what I'm saying, or not, you know, act out towards that person, they're going to be like, well, it is what it is. And so it takes it into their teenage years and their adulthood, and to something happens to break the cycle. So that this is where we come with talk about S.T.A.R.V.E. talk. We talk about standing tall and reclaiming victory every day. Because, and I want to touch on it now and I'll touch on it later, but in that phase of your life, how did you stand tall and reclaim victory every day once you had your kids, once you got married and started to make that decision, okay, I'm not going to go to college, but I'm going to start living my life this way. How did you stand tall and reclaim victory every day?
Well, it was really tough for me to do that. It took me a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean, honestly, I probably was in my late 20s. I apologize for that. Late 20s, early 30s when that happened. You know, unfortunately, when you go through molestation, you will never see the world through the eyes of a child, right? That's done. And so as I got older, I realized I grew up with the eyes of an adult as a child.
Yeah.
And so as I got older, it was like, oh my God, I missed out on this, or I missed out on that, or I didn't get to feel like this, because I see how other children grow up and they do that, how they're growing up. And I'm like, man, I missed out on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So as I got older, after I had my kids, of course, that forced me to, because I had my daughter when I was 19, my son when I was 21, and that forced me to be even more of an adult. So once I got married, it was like, okay, I really have to be grown now. I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to work, I have to do this. And so, man, when I turned maybe my late 30s, it was like something clicked, like, okay, it's time for you to really, you have to, first of all, forgive these people who harmed you, because I cannot move forward in my life at all. I'm holding so many grudges. I'm mad and I'm just not happy. And so I had to go to God. I knew I believed in God. I knew what my family taught us, but it took me to really have a relationship with him. And that was, like I said, in my late 20s, early 30s, to really be able to move forward and be able to reclaim, everything. I had to gain back everything. I had to talk to God first.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing. That was the first thing I had to do.
What does forgiveness look like to you?
I'm sorry?
What does forgiveness look like to you?
Forgiveness looks like, first of all, God is forgiveness. So if I have him, I have that in my heart. I have forgiveness. And that means I have to let it go. I cannot hold in any anger for what they've done to me. I have to forget. You'll never forget. But for me, I'm kind of forgetting, just, okay, it happened. There's nothing that I can do anymore to get past, I've gotten past it. I've gotten past it all. I just have to let it go. And when you let go, you just let God. And you just can't hold that anger. You just have to know that these people, they've done what they've done. But if you continuously, hold on to what they've done to you, they have the power. They're winning. Yeah. You lose out on a lot by continuously harping on what they've done to you. So forgiving is just loving people for who they are, regardless to, how bad it is. I still love my grandfather, though he's deceased. I love my uncle, my second husband who verbally and physically abused me. I forgive him. I just actually told another one of my uncles just a couple of weeks ago. He still talks to my ex, who's now in prison for murder. Thank God it wasn't me, because he did attempt to kill me.
We gonna get to that.
Okay.
No. I wanted you to paint the picture of forgiveness, because even me, I have a blurred vision when it comes to forgiveness, because I feel like my forgiveness is that I don't hurt you. Mm-hmm. And I do agree with the not continuously harping on it, and moving forward. But I've never gotten to the point where people always want me to deal with those people. I'm like, I don't want to deal with them no more, like at all, especially if they haven't tried to make amends. You know what I'm saying? Like if they had made amends, my forgiveness is that I didn't try to get back at you. I'm not bad mouthing you. I'm not doing anything to hurt you because you hurt me. That's how I feel about it, and so I wanted you to paint your picture of what it looks like, because especially as Christians, people like they get it confused, because a lot of people who telling you to forgive is the person who's doing something greasy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
oh no, you got to forgive, and then they throw God in there, and it's like, nah, like God, I read the Bible, and God was real clear on what his issues was. It wasn't no blurred lines. Like you did this, I got at you. If I decided, if God forgave you, I stopped getting at you, and I started blessing you again, right? Like it was real clear. It wasn't, all right, I'm doing something greasy, and because of God, I gotta let you get away with it. Like a lot of people are taking advantage of in that space. And some of us have all been in that space, especially when you step into the world of Christianity. Like a lot of people using that, as a way to take advantage of individuals. And that's not a good look.
Yeah. No, I like I said, if I seen my uncle a couple years ago at my cousin's funeral. And when I saw him, he said hello, I said hello, and I kept it moving.
Yeah.
I don't hold that anger in my heart.
That's it.
I can't.
You respected him and the family by speaking and move on. You don't have to.
That's it.
You don't have to deal. And I, that's what that looks like to me. And I want to continue to harp on that because the forgiveness portion is a confused space for a lot of people, especially in the faith, in any faith, but definitely that Christianity faith. Like it's a real hazy gray area because people are like, you got to forgive them. So that means let them come back to your house or be around them or like, no, that's not what forgiveness looks like. They tried to hurt me and I didn't try to hurt them. And when I see them, I'm not bad mouthing them. I speak, but I still keep my distance. And that's just called being smart and being intelligent.
Yeah. That's right.
That's just called being intelligent. And so you said you started to feel like you started to forget it. So did you feel like that was a victory? Like as you started to?
Yeah, only time that I really think about it or have to reminisce is when I'm writing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't sit around and I don't dwell on it. I can't think about it. Like there was a moment in my life where I felt like I was thinking about it all the time. And that was hindering my movement.
Yeah.
I was stagnant because of it.
Yeah.
And so now it's like it's dead and in the water.
Yeah.
Now when I have to start writing on paper, writing my books, then I'm like, oh, okay, I got to relive this, but I'm not crying. I'm not sad.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That book right behind you, you look behind it, I Won't Starve. I ain't never cried that much in my life. But it's just something about becoming a writer or just an artist, period, because that's your outlet. And then, you do have to relive those things. But I love what you said, because going back as doing it again, it's like, okay, I don't feel exactly the same as I felt. You can feel the growth.
Yes.
You can feel the growth. Like I was boo-hooing in this one. This one is like, I feel it, but nah, I'm all right, so let's jump around a little bit. Let's talk about that experience. Like your first time writing, were you writing did that make you write because you had a story to tell about the trauma that you overcame?
Yeah. So when I started writing that behind closed doors, it was never my intentions to make it a book. I think I just wanted to write it down on paper. I just wanted to, because I went to counseling. Counseling didn't work for me. I went 3 times and I just feel like people were there for checks. So I was like, I can't do this. So then I just started writing stuff down on a regular old notebook. Some people want to write in a journal and they want to tuck it away where people can't see it. But for me, it was on notebook paper, out in the open. I didn't care who read it, but it was just therapeutic to just get it off my chest, because I found myself lashing out at my husband a lot, not knowing why. And I was like, he was even like, this is a bit much. Like you lashing out on me and I'm not even doing anything. So I started writing it on paper, and then he was like, well, maybe you should go ahead and turn it into a book. Write down everything and maybe turn it into a book. I said, I don't know. I can't do something like that because I didn't think. Can't say what you're not until you start doing it, right?
Got that right.
And so I didn't know I had it in me to actually become an author. So when I started writing that stuff down, and then I decided, you know what, let me get more in depth with it and put it into a book, that felt good to me. because it was just like I was able to really release it all. Though it wasn't verbal, I was able to release all of those words that's been, inside that I wanted to get out, and to be able to have other people read it who's gone through it. That was the best feeling ever. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, I had this issue and this problem." So it made me feel good to get that feedback.
It's crazy because I think about, your life, and I don't know the age when the molestation happened, but you had your children in 1921, and you were in a marriage that you said didn't work. It's just like it can be a time frame of like, am I ever going to get out of this?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have those thoughts, between your teenage years and then your early 20s and going through it? It's just like, am I ever going to get out of this?
I've always thought that. I thought that even when I was in my 30s.
Mm.
It was like, I always used to ask God, why?
Mm.
Why? I felt like I was never going to have anything better for myself.
Mm.
I thought that I was always going to be in this negative space, but I realized it took, again, for me to really just back up and evaluate me and who I was. And when I did that, that light bulb clicked.
Yeah.
Well, girl, you got to forgive these people.
Mm.
You can't move forward until you let some things go. So once I did, I finally got out of this bubble, and it was like, okay, now I can breathe a little bit.
Did you feel like people weren't seeing you or understanding you, your hurt, your pain, or the things you went through?
I don't know. Well, my mother and my father didn't know until I was 29 is when I told them. When I told them, they understood, and they were supportive. My dad was, before he died. My mom, she didn't find out everything until I wrote the book.
Wow.
I didn't know how to tell them. My dad was sick with cancer, so I didn't know I didn't want to put all of that on him.
Yeah.
At that moment. And even now, he still doesn't know everything because he passed too soon.
Yeah.
But friends, they claim to understand you, after you finally speak on it, and they say, "Oh, I understand because I went through it." So they probably do. But then you have other ones who say, "Oh, I understand," but then in the back of their head, well, she probably deserves, it's always something negative.
Yeah.
So I didn't care whether they understood or didn't understand. I just knew that it was time for me to just be open.
Yeah.
And just let it all out, because it's about my happiness at this point.
What about your children?
My children, they didn't know until, they got older. I never, got to tell them, what happened until they were older. I could have, I just chose not to. And my kids are so supportive of everything. They felt bad. My son, being a mama's boy, he's very protective of me. He was in his feelings, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter as well. But they've been there. They understood everything. I mean, what more can you ask for when you have kids that really are there? Because some people, like I said, they have all these negative thoughts like, "Oh, well, what did she do to get that?" I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So what is it that a 6-year-old could actually do to, deserve something like this?
Yeah. And
So
when your children were 6, you said you were going through a issue in your household with your marriage, and that when they were kids, when they were younger. How was that with them? How did you protect them from that situation?
So my children, they were from my first husband.
Mm-hmm.
It was totally fine. He's a great father. He's been there. He's still there to this day. They they saw the second marriage
Okay.
where I went through the abuse. And at that time, I believe they were like, I don't know, 8 and 6, maybe 10 and 8, something like that. So they saw a lot of arguing. I tried to shield them. Now, kids are not dumb.
Not
You
at
know,
all.
they can sense issues. And I blame myself because of what I went through. It caused me to choose the wrong people to be in my life. So that's another thing people got to understand when you go through stuff and it alters you, it causes you to make decisions that you shouldn't or that you wouldn't ordinarily make, right? So
Yeah.
I made a decision to choose the wrong man in my life and just I don't know. I don't know why I did, but I did. And they saw, you know, a little bit of the arguing but the abuse as far as the physical abuse, I tried to shield them from that where they were, you know, I make them go to their father's house. When I knew this person, because let me just say I found out he was on drugs when we got together.
Yeah.
Well, not when we got together. It was a while after we were together.
Yeah.
And of course, our feelings were already there. I was in love. And me being who I am, I just wanted to help.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, I wanted to help more than he wanted to help himself.
Yeah, that's usually how that works. You know,
Yeah.
how it works, especially with females. You know, men. I don't know how I say this as a joke sometimes, but it's just the truth because I talk about men and women, and I say, you know, a man will date a crackhead. You know, like at the time, like knowing she's that. You know what I'm saying? He probably try to keep it on the low.
Right.
Would meet her knowing she gets high and still with what's name, but it's usually the females get caught in the mix. They don't know, and then they find out later because if a female know it up front, most likely she's not going to be bothered with.
That's right.
And
Right.
so, you know, and I say it comedically because I say like it was like, oh well, women are this and men are that. I like, well, look, y'all got us bad off because we'll take y'all as a crackhead. Something about a woman, we got to have a woman, you know, the men who like women, we got to have a woman, we'll take them however, you know what I mean? We might try to keep them in the closet, but we going to take, we going to
Yeah.
tell she this, so she that, we go, hey, don't worry about it, I'm going over here. But females, if y'all know better, y'all attempt to do better when it comes to that because
Right.
y'all are operating, y'all don't want to go down with lifestyle, you know, wise, you know, things of that nature. So it's usually happens like that. Females get duped into, you know, he's still functional at a point, but the longer he keep going, is at the while is going to get a hold of him. He can't be functional no more. Now the slip is showing. He can kind of see, you can see that, hey, he's doing this, but you already love him. You know, you already
That's right.
situation. You already invested in him or the relationship in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You know, you're living
Right.
together, y'all paying bills together, things is going on. Hey, maybe it might be cheaper to help him than go find an apartment, you know, or else. The car is in both of our name. You know what I mean? Like, hey, go to work.
Right.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
so that's tough. You know, I grew up around a lot of that. So I imagine you were trying to get him rehab or, you know,
Yeah.
and it just he just wasn't ready.
No, I mean, I went to church with him, got him into church. He was even in the playing the drums at the church. Going to rehab, just I was going with him, I was doing everything that I could possible to help him because at the end of the day, to be honest, he was a good guy when he was clean.
Yeah.
He would give you the shirt off of his back. But like you said, they get so far gone, it's like, okay, that's it. And so he got so far gone to where I'm like, I can't continue to help somebody who don't want the help.
Yeah.
And it became, physically abusive. He attempted to kill me. He put a gun to my head the night my best friend passed away. He drugged me by a car down a busy road.
Mm.
I went through a lot and I knew before that I'm done. But with the hold that he had on me, the threats, all the stuff that he was putting me through, it was so tough to leave.
Yeah.
You know, and people will tell you, oh, you can just leave.
That's not true.
You don't know until you're in that situation.
Not true. Not even a little.
Not even a little bit.
I did
It's
it.
not true.
I did a doc on domestic violence years ago. I'm gonna do another one. It's 2015. It was called Unbeatable. And the thing that I think we had like 6 people, and the thing that was in common is nobody told anybody. And it was a gentleman too. It was 1 man and 5 women, and all of them. The thing that they had in common was nobody knew. Like the man didn't tell anybody because he probably would have been clowned, but he went to drugs because he was being abused by 2 women. First wife, second wife. He was being abused. These women, he met women who wanted to abuse him, like to the point where one stabbed him in the eye. Like it was just that bad.
Oh wow.
You had a whole bunch of other stuff, and my question to everybody was like, why didn't you say anything?
Right.
And you said something that stuck out to me about bringing them to church. What was that like? Oh, well, he's a part of the church. So you introduced him to the church, or you guys were going to church together at the time, or did you introduce him?
We were going together. I was going to a whole different church before I met him. And then this particular church, which is my sister's church, I was like, well, we could start going to this church because it was literally around the corner from my house. So I was like, well, let's just start going together. And we did. Yeah. And he joined started playing music there. And that was the worst decision I could have ever made. Seriously.
Feel like that because was it no support, or did he get worse at the church, or what was going on?
Yeah, he got worse. It's bad when your pastor's paying you to play drums and you get money in your pocket. First thing you want to do is blow it on drugs.
Yeah.
And then you get high at the church.
Wow.
In the church, in the bathroom.
Wow.
You got other dealers from the streets that go to this church as well, confronting us in the church. Why are y'all confronting me?
That's how it works.
It's crazy.
And they'll tell, look, and this is coming from, we talked about my story. Like, they'll tell you, they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get some money for my girl to pay you, because they owe you, or my mom, or and they put you in those type of situations. They put family members in that type of situation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or loved ones in that type of situation. You never know what they saying to get that demon. You know what I mean? Especially if they on heroin or crack. They're like, look.
Crack. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I tell people all the time, I say, you that's the worst customer, a crackhead or a meth head. You might as well move past them. It's nothing business about them. They know where you live at, they knocking on your door.
Yes.
Come to your house. And if it's a meth head, they're gonna come in your house.
Oh God.
Hide around the corner. Hey, yeah, come on out. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They do not care. And it's a dangerous situation. And so you got kids and people like, hey, I want my money by any means necessary. So they're like, hey, I see you with him. I'm gonna come after you. I'm gonna talk to you. And to say that is in the church, I'm like, wow, church has changed so much.
Yeah.
Okay, church, but to have the drug dealers in the church, like,
right. Yeah, that was scary. He set this guy up, and the guy, he really. It was horrible because I'm just like, when he set him up, and he was a CI, for the police. And one day I was with him not knowing he was wired. Oh, and he asked me to take him to his boy's house, and he was clean.
Yeah.
That day. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop, run him by there. And he went in there and did a whole setup. Wow. I had no idea until we're in the car and we're talking, and the guy got to hear that recording when he got busted and heard my voice in the background talking to him. And I'm like, I can't believe I got put in this situation, but by the grace of God, nothing happened to me. He also have done where He, God, man, it's just, I think that's gonna make me mad just thinking about it. He just put me through so much.
I know, I get it. I get it. I get it. And so, this is the part of the story that people needs to hear, because they'll put it on VH1 and hear their favorite celebrity that they can't put their fingers on, they can't touch. But it's a sister like yourself who, they can put their fingers on, they can connect with. And you got a smile on your face. You have met your king, not your Prince Charming, but your king,
Yeah.
and you're happy at this point in your life. Things are happening, but it's like, it's not, you don't wake up to happy. It's a process to get
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
A real process, not just something that I made up just because you're gifted as a writer. Like, no, it's a real process. I've been forged through the fire. If you see this shining like a diamond, it's a real diamond because it's actually been through the fire. It's been through everything. So what was the turning point? What was the turning point for your life, period? Like, hey, when was that, and what happened in the turning point?
Turning point was back in 2013, I believe. I divorced my second husband in 2012. 2010, I had it. And let me just go back a little bit with that, because the turning point started when in 2009, I believe I was sitting in my living room and I kept asking God, why? And I never ever will forget, because he was in the bedroom and I'm sitting on my floor. And I threw my hands up and I'm crying and I'm just calling Jesus. And I just kept calling on Jesus, just kept doing it. And I said, why? And I'll never forget, he said in my ear, as plain as day, sit still. Be still is what it was said. Be still. And so I had to obey that. That was the first step to me obeying. I knew I had to start obeying him, So when I did that, I knew some change was going to come. So I sat still and I waited. 2010, he was arrested because he tried to kill me again, and he got arrested. He finally ended up going to prison for multiple charges, plus what he's done to me. Got away, divorced him in 2012 when he was locked up. 2013, I ended up going on a dating site because I knew I was gonna move to North Carolina that following year. And I got on this dating site and it was like datehookup.com. It was something real corny. And I just wanted to see what type of guys was here in North Carolina. So happened my husband now, he was on there. And so somehow we started conversating, and I didn't put a picture up, and he said to me, why don't you have a picture on your profile? I said, because I'm not looking for a man. I just want to see what kind of guys are in North Carolina because I'm moving. He said, oh, you must be ugly.
Oh.
From that point, we started conversating every single day up until today. We every day. So when we met in December of 2013, we got married in 2014 in April.
Wow.
I ended up moving because I was supposed to move July of 2014. I ended up moving here March 1st of 2014. We got married in April.
See,
that was the turning point.
You go back into that, and I dig it because I've always been a fan of long distance relationships because and you can tell me if I'm wrong. It seemed like that was the time when you actually got a chance to really get to know a brother, and a brother to know you.
Yep,
and
that's right.
People that all the time. I'm like, y'all think about long distance relationships the wrong way, and especially the way it is now. Like everybody's fast. When we grew up, it was like you had a fast. You fast, right? And so, and the older you get, the faster you get. It's not like you get.
Right.
it's like being honest as grown people, you like, he looks like somebody I want. She likes somebody I want. Why are we waiting?
Right.
Then you done already got in the mix. Now you trying to get to know this person. And you like
Yeah.
person, but damn, he crazy as hell. You know, 2 months down the line, you know.
Yeah.
Too much, you just in bliss. You having fun, something new. It is what it is. But you had months of just talking. Of just kicking it. And this, you know, really having a conversation with somebody and getting to know somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a whole different process, you know. So that's why it wasn't weird to me when you said that, because I'm like, oh, you probably know him way more than you knew anybody that you,
Yeah.
even though he was at a distance, because you got a chance to actually build with him.
That's right. And you're right. It was back when we had Skype. So, you know, we were, you know, talking, we get to see each other, you know, and if he got on my nerves, I can close that laptop and I ain't got to talk to him, you know?
What did he say when he first saw you?
He asked me to send him a picture. And when I sent him the picture, he's like, this ain't you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, yes, it is. He said, I think you're catfishing me.
Wow.
And I said, no, it's really me. So then he said, okay, we need to Skype. He was like, oh, that was you. And I'm like, okay. And this was 10 years ago.
In his defense, you know, we are people of a certain age, right? So I remember calling wrong, like as the guys, we used to call wrong numbers on purpose, right? The girls at night. Like, so it'd be like late at night, like 8, well, I'd say like 10, 11 o'clock at night. You call the wrong number. And a girl with a good voice get on the phone, like, hey, yo, what's up? What's up? Start talking. Right. But for some reason, the unattractive young lady sounded the best on the phone. Best conversation. There was everything. And then you know, they used to call it like you be baby caking on the phone for like 2 months. Then you finally see him, you're like, no. He probably before, and he was probably like, nah, man.
He actually did go through that because he went through that same dating site with somebody else. And he said the girl sounded cute. And then when he finally met up with her at a restaurant, he was like, oh my God. He said, that is not what I heard on the phone.
Yeah, that was a thing back in the day. You know, we was calling wrong numbers and you couldn't, you know, you find out somebody had a call ID or you start 69 or
right.
block your number. So, you know, we was way more intelligent than now, you know what I mean? Like we had those dope things we could do. But yeah, get it. But yeah, I wanted to see what he said. So he was happy and pleased with what he saw.
Yes. He was happy. Like I said, I made a trip down. I came down to North Carolina because like I said, I was going to move anyway. I came down to look at some houses, ended up meeting him in person. We hit it off in person, you know, after a month, but then I came back home. We continued just to talk on the phone. March rolled around, into February rolled around, and he was like, I want you to come, you know, sooner than July. And I'm like, I don't, but you said something earlier, when you know, because, you know, we're grown. Yeah. And so after us talking and, you know, getting confirmation and praying, it was like, this is it. Yeah. And so the peace that I was in, I felt so much peace after praying about everything and about the move and about him. It was time to go. Yeah. So I packed up. He came to Ohio, got my U-Haul for me, packed it up, and drove on back down. March 1st, I made it home.
Not this lady. He said, I ain't got no time for this foolishness. I'm going to
right. Right.
Man, though, because you don't have to, you don't need to wait. You know, you don't need to wait on, hey, she out there, go get her. You know, and even if you got social media, you meet somebody, they can be on the other side of the world. Look, if you have those situations, hey, I'm going to go get it. You know what I mean? And most real men don't have to go through all of that. Like, look, we're going to go ahead and make this happen and we're going to bust a move. You know, I'm sure he has his own things that he went through. And he probably was at the point and was like, all right, look, I need that. I need my woman. You know, I need my bride. Yeah. And so that was that. And so what happened once you know, of course, the marital bliss portion, the honeymoon and everything like that. But when did you start to get into you to like, all right, I want to be in business, my career, things of that nature? At what point through the journey where it's like, all right, I'm about to start leveling up and being the person who I wanted to be?
2017 is when I started, figuring out what I needed to do for me to be a better me. And that's when I started writing, the first book. And then I wrote the journal, the second book to coincide with the first. Then I wrote the children's book. I'm working on my fourth book. So from 2017 up until today, it's just been, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do, or trying to figure out who I really am when it comes to, just, being a better me when it comes to, writing, or whether it comes to acting or whatever it is. I've been dibbling, dabbling, you know what I'm saying, in everything.
Exploratory phase. And
yeah.
And the thing is, you didn't have that when you were younger.
No.
You didn't have that when you were younger. And so one thing I tell people about this thing called life is that, you can't skip steps. If you live long enough, life is going to make you go back through those steps.
Yes.
You didn't have the exploratory phase of life. You just had to make decisions like, hey, I'm grown right now and I got to deal with this. And so obviously you've been presented with a level of comfort that you can actually make that choice to say, okay, well, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, and I'm going to see. And you're not worried about the world closing in on you or caving in on you because you're experimenting. Is that accurate?
Right. Yes, very accurate. I will say sometimes I don't want to say hate, but I do dislike the fact that I have gotten to this age where now I'm trying to figure it out. I know God has a purpose, but I don't like, sometimes I just don't like it, because I wish that all of that would have happened when I was younger, because I'm sure a lot more would have happened in my life, and for positive reasons, you know what I mean? But because of me going through those negative things, again, I had to wait until now. But that's where I had to go back and say, well, it's not about me. This is what God had for me. I have to accept what I've gone through and, take what I have and keep it moving. Things could be totally different, had, things been different then, but it played out the way it played out for a reason. I may not have written a book, 3 books, now on my 4th. I may not be acting,
It's great. It gets greater later, and
yeah.
I learned that because, I feel the same way. When you tell me these timestamps, we so aligned, you and I, because 2013 is when my life changed, when I had to make a shift, and I was working for $8 an hour just 10 years ago. At this time, in August of 2013, I was working for $8 an hour. So, and then in 17 was my first year as a 6-figure earner.
Wow.
And I was able to, I reinvested every profit that I had back into my business and got a building and started doing things, and that opened me up. And that's when I first started thinking about a book and speaking, and I Won't Starve became a company then. Like all those things.
Yeah.
I finally got a chance to explore. And I felt the same way because I had a lot of money as a kid. I was a child hustler, you know what I mean? A teenage hustler. And then the child, facing time in prison, and because I was hustling and I made a bunch of money, and I'm like, man, I'm paying for going to trips with my family now. Like I had a whole bunch of money when I was in the street, and I wasn't traveling. Like, why wasn't I traveling then? Why wasn't I traveling and have this thing and own homes? And no, I had multiple apartments to hide drugs, but I didn't have multiple houses that I can own to be an investor. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel bad about that, because now being an investor and nobody's there to help me, and the money, making money, but it's like, it don't come as fast as it come with drugs. So you're like, and you taking your time, you're like, man, I wish I could have did this. And you know what? Because I would have messed it up.
Right.
I would have messed it up. It wouldn't have went as smooth as it go now. You know what I'm saying? Like when we go on vacation and come back, we not worrying about nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the car go in the shop, we not worrying about it. I'm not looking in the rearview mirror and, you know, I sleep different. You know what I mean? Like, and I can just imagine that you sleep different because
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
trying to abuse you. You know what I'm saying? In no way,
Yeah.
shape, form, or fashion. You know, you're not worried about your babies are not babies anymore. You know what I mean? So they've become a part of the team now. You
Yeah.
know, so it's greater because now those friends that you got rid of, it could have been a guy friend and a female friend. Now the substitution is your babies that you know gonna hold you down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's definitely greater later. And
Yes.
takes something in us to feel that and really understand that and that covenant that you make with God, even with yourself, to, you know, refrain from the BS now because it's supposed to be late. It's not supposed to be when you die. It's just hold off of this nonsense you don't need right now, because in a couple years you're gonna get everything you do need, coupled with some of the stuff that you want, because the stuff that you get but you want now, you ain't even gonna want that. Five,
Right.
you know,
Right.
everything you need, and now you're going to be able to get the things you do want right now, and it's just going to feel better. Going to Jamaica, going to all these islands as Neicee today, it's going to be a whole lot different than Neicee at 21, 22.
Oh,
Going
yeah.
to islands, you're going to appreciate it different. You're going to do it differently. You're going to be treated differently. So,
Yeah.
you know, if I can speak into your life with that situation, because I just identify with it so much.
Yes. And you did. And it, you know, everything you said, it feels good
Yeah.
today. I mean, I can breathe. I can absolutely breathe. And, you know, you said it. My kids are grown and they are there. I have my grandbabies.
Mm.
You know, things could be different. I could absolutely not have my two grandchildren who I love to death.
Yeah.
You know, because of me altering what God had planned for me. If I would have done something totally different, it would be totally different right now. And I'm very, very grateful and blessed for everything that I've gone through. And I tell people that all the time. I just told my uncle, please tell that man, the guy who abused me, my other uncle, tell him it's all good. Because he told him to tell me he was sorry for everything he put me through. He just said this a couple weeks ago. And I said, tell him it's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. You know, karma will get everyone who's done you wrong. And, you know, you just sit back and you just let things happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, what comes to you is for you. And I'm grateful for everything that's come my way. I'm grateful to be 48 and having, though it's late, I'm grateful for everything.
It's right on time. You acting right now, and I wanted to end with the acting portion because it's so dope. I mean, again, as an artist, a fellow artist, you know, photographer, comedian. People don't even know that I do that on the side. I mean, like, and I don't even do it for money. That's just actually, I did that for 2 years now, literally 2 years. Wife's birthday in August of 2021. That was part of her birthday present.
Oh.
I did that for her. I literally did an impromptu situation, went to a comedy show and did a set.
Oh, wow.
And knocked it out the park. And I've never been booed. I probably did it about 5 times, never been booed. But I never did it for money, never even attempted to. You know, they work too late for me. Like, I'm going to bed. We starting at 12 o'clock at night. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
So you too old for that now, right?
I don't know. I go to sleep. I'm an early dude. Like, y'all can do y'all stuff at 7 because I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah.
But again, doing that, that's why I say I understand the exploratory phase. It's just making me happy. Like doing that, of course, wrote 4 books, looking to write until I leave this earth. Everything I do artistically, like people look at you like you're doing that now. Like you're trying this now. You're not trying this at 19, not trying this at 15 or 21, 22. And I'm like, you know, no, I'm doing it now. But again, I'm chilling. I'm having fun. So what is it like for you? Like I'm acting right now, like really acting.
that's one thing that I never thought I would touch.
Totally understand.
When you're little, you pretend like you're an actor or actress or whatever. But I used to watch the soap operas and I used to always in my head like, oh, I wish I can be that person. But never thought about becoming an actress. I was in a play when I was in 6th grade. That was it. And so it just so happened to fall in my lap in February, this past February. It was posted. They were looking for actors and actresses. And, so I just took a shot. I'm laying in bed late at night and I was like, oh, I'm just going to hit interested. Nobody's going to respond to me. Yeah, right. This is a whole scam is what I'm thinking. And so I get a respond back and they're like asking all these questions. I'm giving them answers. They ask for a headshot. They ask, just different stuff. I end up sending them one of my acting challenges from TikTok. Next thing you know, the next day I get a message. Oh, there was no auditioning for it. This person, Delinda Kay, she's love her to death. She gives people opportunities where others will not. She's been in a situation where she was trying to become an actress or something where she had to audition and they'll turn good people away. She didn't want to do that. She wanted to give everybody an opportunity. So she did that. And so when I got that opportunity, I said, oh, this got to be a joke. This got to be a joke. And then it said, yes, I've been casted in this movie called Sheltered, yada, yada, yada. What? Me? Not me. And so when I got the script, I knew it was real. So from that point, I was like, okay, I like this. When I started filming that first movie, we did finish it up. I love it. Now we're working on the second movie. We actually started filming today. Wow. I go in 3 weeks to start filming. But it's been a ball. I love it. And I don't ever want to stop. I don't want to stop.
I love it. I love it. What's your advice to somebody who, because you didn't think about it, but somebody's thinking about it, but they think that their time has passed. What's your advice for them?
Your time has not passed until you're dead and in the ground.
Yeah.
So as long as you are walking, talking, and breathing, you have an opportunity to move forward in whatever it is you want to do. Don't let anything or anyone hinder you. It starts with you. You have to forgive those who've harmed you. If that's what's holding you back, you just have to let those negative things go and just keep pushing, no matter how old you are.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy, man. I was so excited for you when I saw that, but just the journey period, because we have to champion each other, and especially people that look like you and I.
Yes. We
shame each other. We make each other feel better than any other community ever makes us feel. Like we people of a certain age, we understand racism, we know how to navigate it or whatever the case may be, but we don't talk about how we do us so bad. And I'm not talking about the Chicago shootings and nothing like that. I'm just talking about we really have the thought process. I'm not going to give a black person a shot and we're a black person. I'm not going to spend my money with this person, or I had a bad experience at their store. So I'm never going back. And you've had 1,800 bad experiences at 1,800 different Walmarts. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like we have zero tolerance. If it's not perfection, I don't want him. I don't want her. You know what I mean? We're just so hard on each other. Our sisters, everything right. And that's why our sisters are dying, because they're trying to make themselves look like something. And the brothers got to make millions of dollars and it ain't that much money to go around.
Right.
Just unrealistic expectations on us and our parents and family members and the judgment and everything like that. So we have to champion each other who are really stepping out there and being their most authentic self. And so
absolutely
allow me to, salute you for stepping out there and just taking that shot, man, and doing something that you said that you don't ever want to stop doing. Like, that's an amazing thing to hear, for real, for real.
Well, let me tell you, I thank you. And I mean this sincerely from the bottom of my heart. Between you and Tamika, you guys have no idea. because I watch you just like you say you watch me. And I do. I watch you and you actually inspire me. Though I can't do what you do, some people can't do what I do, and I can't do what somebody. I still watch. I watch you as a Black man just climb the ladder where others are trying to climb, where they're still at the bottom. But you study climbing and climbing and climbing. And when I watch you, I'm like, this man out here making moves for his family. Like, you're doing everything that somebody else wishes they can do. And so you guys actually inspire me. Tamika does the same thing. I'm like, look at, I love it. I just, it's something about you two that I just get this energy. Like when I first met you guys, when I did the interview, I loved y'all. Me and Davita talked about you guys so much. I love y'all.
That's my Gemini.
And I really appreciate you too. I really do.
Thank you. And she's gonna hear this because you know we when we connected, even I mean I remember me and Tamika, she put in her book. We were done because I had like a $40,000 event going on, and she made a mistake with something, and I was like, oh, you know, no, we're not. I'm not. My wife said, she ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. Like, no, you need her. Like, and it's been that, and like literally like 2 months, a month later, here come the pandemic, and we've been stuck together ever since. Like, wait, you know, we just alike. Our birthday's a couple days apart.
Oh, wow.
Literally just alike. And so, you know, she's the female version of me, and it was needed. And we got stamped by my boss, and the rest is history. So we out here trying to take over the world. So
yeah, I love it.
We hear that, and she speaks so highly of you. It's just been amazing, and I want our relationships to keep on going, and I want to support whatever it is that you're doing. You know, and as I always said, I don't mind coming to North Carolina is it's home team because I've been spent a good portion of my adult life in South Carolina. So I'm familiar with the area. But anywhere, whatever you're doing, we want to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I would have known because we just had our movie premiere back in June.
Oh man, look.
And I would have said, come on.
Shoot one right now. So, you know, hey,
well,
when the premiere is coming out, let me know. We'll be there. So we'll advertise, we'll do another interview. Whatever you want us to do, we here for you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, I still pick up the camera too, you know. So if I need to come and shoot up something,
come on.
Look, my this portion of my life was built by a camera. You know, I don't use it as much as I used to because the pandemic kind of shut it down. And it was perfect timing for me to step out. My second book, You Won't Starve, was coming out at the same time. And so that kind of worked out for me. But hey, I still do that too, you know. So
yeah.
Whatever you need, I'm here for you, you know. So we got to do that for each other. We got to champion each other, and we can't just talk about it. We got to be about it for real, for real.
You're right. You're right.
Look, you embody S.T.A.R.V.E. Stand tall and reclaim victory every day because you had so many times that you could have gave up.
Yes.
So many times you could have gave up, and you know so many people that have given up.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
For what you went through.
Yep. You're right. You're right.
This is why we created this show. This is what this is about. I want to salute you, and we're gonna get the claps and everything because I always say we having a dope show because I make sure we have dope individuals, and you are just that. And I just can't wait to see what you got up in store next. You know,
thank you.
Book, the next movie, all that other good stuff. Now I gotta have conversations with you because I got movie ideas and I got nothing but stuff to say and talk about. So we gotta chop it up about that.
Speaking of that, I'm turning my book into a movie. Working on that now. Just started writing the script for it. So
there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Listen, close out for me. Give us something on just with S.T.A.R.V.E. in mind. Stand tall and reclaim victory every day. Give us something to close out with on that.
Listen, like you said, stand tall and reclaim. I can't even get it out. Stand tall and reclaim victory every day. Those words are true. You have to do just that. In order to make it, you have to do just that. You need to live by those words. No one's going to do it for you. You have to be that one to stand tall. And while everyone else is pulling you down, you have to continue to stand tall. So I did. I'm living proof.
Yeah.
People try to pull me down, pull me out. I mean, listen, I had to stand tall, and I'm going to continue to do that until my last day here on this earth.
Love it. Tell everybody how they can find you and get your books and see the first movie and get prepared for the second one and all that stuff.
Yes, so you can purchase my books on Amazon. You can get all 3 of them on Amazon. I still have to revamp my website, but until then, go to Amazon.com. You can purchase them through me by reaching out to me at IMDcJ at gmail.com. Our movie, which is Sheltered, it's out. We're just waiting for it. Got picked up by Hulu, Tubi, Peacock, Apple TV, and Amazon Prime. So those movies, we're waiting on dates for those to be released. The next movie that's coming out is called Forever Loved. Like I said, we just started filming that one today. So that will be coming to those same platforms. So if you would like to get a book, again, Amazon.com, or you can contact me at Neicee J. You can get an autographed copy through me doing that.
Love it. Make sure you contact her. You guys already know how to get in touch with us. And as you're watching this on the playback on YouTube, you're gonna see it all on the screen, and we'll put everything in the notes so you can get it, from the audio space as well. Go to IWon'tStarve.com, lock in with everything that we're doing. Go to YouTube at S.T.A.R.V.E Talk and subscribe and see what we're doing. This podcast is on every podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, everywhere else. And, connect with me directly. I am Jay Halim on all platforms. If you got a story that fits the criteria of staying tall and reclaim victory every day, holla at us. Holla at Tamika, who she talked about. That's another one of my bosses. I'm a restaurant. Tell me what to do. jayhalim.com, email her. But just go into the website and hit us up, and so we can talk to you and see about your story. Listen, this has been another dope episode. As I said before, I'm signing off. Your boy Jay Halim with the lovely Neicee J. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.